Next lecture is on the rise of big business. Chapter 8, Section 3. Factors of production. What are the factors of production? Well, there's land, labor, capital. Land. Not just land itself. We're not just talking about land itself. We're talking about natural resources. We're talking about a variety of natural resources. Here are a few of them right now in this picture. As you can see, there's coal, there's timber, right? Wind energy, okay? Labor. Large number of workers. You need a large number of workers to accomplish your task. Well, in the late 1800s, there was a huge population growth. We had a large number of people coming here based on immigration, right? Between 1890 and 1900. The population doubled in that time because people were immigrating to the United States. Now, capital. Manufactured goods used to make other goods. Machines, buildings, tools, okay? All of that means capital if you're going to use it to make other goods. It also means money. Capital means money. Corporations. Business leaders use two methods for raising capital to start or expand a business. The first one I'm going to talk to you about, raising capital, is to sell shares of their business. Let me break it down for you. You have a company, all right? You want to expand that company, you sell pieces of that company to investors that give you money. This top picture here is a New York Stock Exchange, right? If they don't sell pieces of their company, they ended up borrowing the money from banks. The only thing with borrowing money from the banks is that you obviously need to return the money. Now, what are the benefits of selling stocks in a business? You raise money. You raise capital. You're using other people's money, and you protect the business owner's private property. Now, how many shares do you think you need to own or control your own company? You need to own one more share than half the number of stocks. So in other terms, you need to own 51% of your company. Each share of stock entitles the owner to one vote in how the company is run, or a say in their annual stockholders meeting. Now, what does America run on? I'm going to guess that 50% of you, maybe 80% of you, who are watching this lecture said Dunkin' Donuts. Okay? Now, wind energy, electricity, that's the nuclear power plant from The Simpsons. I know, get a kick out of it. And then that one, that last picture right there, that's oil. Okay? America runs on all these forms of energy. But the one that we are most dependent upon, the one that we rely most heavily in the U.S. is oil. Okay? Now you may be thinking, why am I talking about oil? Where is this going to go? Well, you'll eventually see. But first, I want to tell you that Edwin Drake drilled for oil in 1859 in Titusville, Pennsylvania. Can anyone look at that picture? Right? What do you think that's made out of right there? What do you think that building right there, that little oil drum, is made out of? Right? Right? This is America's first oil well. It's made out of wood. We see any issues with that? Drake's wooden well design was replaced with steel frame well derricks. Right? Oil is highly flammable. Wood, also flammable. Put them together, you have fire, not a good scene. Okay, oil became useful as fuel and lubricant. The man who made the most money from oil was John D. Rockefeller. Yes, you may have heard of him if you've ever heard of the show 30 Rock or Rockefeller Center in New York. Right? Same guy. Okay. John D. Rockefeller worked his way to the top of the oil industry. The company he built was called Standard Oil. Okay. Rockefeller used horizontal integration to gain control of the oil industry. Now, horizontal integration, buying other companies in the same business. This is very important for you to know the difference, because you're going to need to know the difference between horizontal integration and vertical integration, which we're going to talk about soon. Let's take a company. Let's say Miss Anderson has a company. Anderson's Awesome Apple Pies. That's her company. Anderson's Awesome Apple Pies. Okay? Now, if she wants to become the head person in this field, what does she need to do using horizontal integration? Using horizontal integration, she would buy all other apple pie companies. Anyone else who makes apple pies, that's a company. Sara Lee, Little Debbie, what have you, she goes and she buys all of their companies. In Rockefeller's case, he tried to gain control of all other oil companies. He either bought small companies outright, or he bought enough of their shares of stock to gain control of their companies. Can you remember how much he needed to have? Yes, 51%. He needed to have one more than half the shares, 51%. Johnny was very clever in getting his oil empire. As you can see, this picture right here of the United States looks like all of these small oil companies. Right? 17 different companies to be exact. They're all different oil companies, but controlled by the same man. Johnny Rockefeller controlled all of these companies. Does anyone want to take a guess at what John D. Rockefeller Standard Oil is called today? Think about it. I know you've all seen it. Probably bought gas, or your parents probably bought gas a time or two here. His Standard Oil company today is called ExxonMobil.